This episode of The Patch is brought to you by World of Tanks. Do not miss out on the game that was voted Best Online Game of the Year 2 years in a row. World of Tanks is available for download on your PC for free. New players in the US can sign up now and enter code Rooster for awesome in-game items. World of Tanks. Download now and play for free at playtanks.us. Stop wasting your money and time buying expensive razors. For just a couple bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com will ship amazing quality razors right to your door. Come on, join the hundreds of thousands of guys who have upgraded to the smarter way to shave. Shave time, shave money. Join now at DollarShaveClub.com/roosterteeth. Everyone, welcome to The Patch. This week, featuring Ryan, the PC Master Race guy.
God,
Yeah.
This week,
no clapping for us, sir.
with Gus,
PC Master Race gets a clap. But
Gus,
Meg.
Ryan.
and Gus. Slow news week this week.
So
Not
little to
Barely
talk
anything.
about.
In fact, I don't even know if I should bother with this. I think we just turn it back over.
Not a lot going on. So E3 week, biggest week for video game news of the whole year.
Always.
Sets the tone, sets the release calendar for basically the rest of the year, this year and then early next year before next year's E3. Lots of stuff. I had to pull a bunch of videos to prepare as assets.
Yeah, it's
for
quite a
the
list.
patch.
48
I think I
It's
pulled
all of
48.
YouTube.
Yeah.
By the way, welcome Meg to the first patch.
Meg, it's your first patch. Welcome.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, do not to be confused with Bernie. Totally different person.
It's really.
The glasses may confuse you, but
Yes.
they're
The
distinct
red
people.
hair.
So before we get into the E3 news, I want to say we just got an update here related to RTX, which is the premier video game and internet experience in the United States. Sold out in Austin.
Now, do we have to
July
fight
4th
somebody
to
for that
6th,
title, or is
2014.
that?
I invented it.
Can
so
you just
it's pretty
okay? You
much
can
ours.
just claim it.
I just got confirmation that Bungie will be at RTX
Hey!
this year, 2014. So if you've already got a ticket, congratulations. If you don't have a ticket, you should have got one sooner.
I think there's
Sucks to
still
be you.
some on the Indiegogo.
There may be some on the Laser Team Indiegogo.
Have they confirmed anything they're bringing?
I cannot speak to that. I can only
Okay.
speak to the fact that they will be there.
Put you on the spot.
Is this indie dev? It's called Bungie. Very exciting.
Maybe you heard of them. I think they're Swedish. An umlaut in that name. Okay, great. So I'm just going to go through my list.
We got
here.
a million
Okay,
things.
let's do.
Essentially, the way I broke down our topic list, and we don't have to
Okay.
stick with this, is I broke it down by keynote.
Yeah.
We've
Okay.
got Microsoft,
Good separation.
Sony, Ubisoft, EA, Nintendo. That's all I have broken down right here. And believe it or not, I guess maybe we should start with the PC news.
All right.
I guess there was a new Doom teaser released.
There was.
Teasing
Tease
further.
and teasing a teaser.
Right.
It's a double tease.
Like, I mean, it's amazing to me how PC dominated the gaming industry was for so long. And I think this might be the only really PC news related that I heard throughout all of E3. And this is teasing more information at QuakeCon.
yeah.
not even sure that
it's like,
it'll-
hey guys, remember QuakeCon?
We had this great game. It was Quake. There's a whole convention. Really, people still go. I swear.
It's a thing, I swear. It's not my mom's basement anymore.
But it was a very cool-looking cyber demon from Doom. That's it.
It had the trademark door opening sound. It's like,
It
that's
did.
when you sold, you're that, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I'm getting into here.
And that made me realize how far sound effects have come in the new generation of consoles, too. Like, that would just seem really out of place to hear that noise in a modern game.
Yeah,
It just sounded cheesy. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's a low bit rate or something.
maybe. So I'm going to try to approach this as equal airtime as possible
Sure.
for everyone, because we are an objective news.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Podcast,
no
video.
favorites here. Let's talk about our favorites.
My favorite.
So, Microsoft, of course, was the first one out the door.
Right.
And I got to say, I was a little disappointed that the first thing they showed was Call of Duty.
Really?
Like, yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Seriously?
I
Yeah.
just felt like, and I'm gonna make enemies saying this, but I felt
Oh.
like during their Xbox One announcement, it was the bro box, right? Like it was a broy press conference, and then you start with Call of Duty. Like, you don't want to shake the bro. Like,
Well,
start with
yeah.
the bro.
At least in their defense, they stuck to only talking about games.
Absolutely, and I
did-
was very excited about
Yeah,
that.
they did not mention any services or any hardware or anything else, which kind of made their messaging messy last year, and I think they were really a hit
Absolutely.
for that. I noticed that it seemed like they took cues from how Sony's been playing. And, they really hyped up the ID at Xbox program, all the indie games that are coming.
Yeah, they took a lot of hits from indie developers when they were announced the Xbox One because the ID at Xbox service seemed very unfriendly to indie developers. And I think they really played it up this year. Like, we really do love our indie devs. Like, swear, guys. Like, we really do love you guys.
Besties forever.
Yeah, besties, BFFs. And I really like their ID showcase. I thought Cuphead, which I'm sure we'll get to. I'm sure I'm skipping ahead.
I've got the whole list right here.
Cuphead looks freaking awesome.
Cuphead?
Aztez? Is that supposed to be Aztecs? Maybe I made a typo. Night Squad, Plague
No, we're running with
Incorporated,
it now. They'll have to change the name to keep up with our podcast.
White Knight, Earthlock, Cuphead, Hyperlight Drifter, Lifeless Planet, Slash Dash, Fru, Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, which wins for best title. Mighty Number 9, Grave, Wolfie, or was that Wolf? Sorry. Hashtag IDARB.
Yeah, sure.
Threes, Phoenix Rage, Hellraid, and Below. But yeah, of the list, Cuphead was definitely the most
Cuphead was amazing.
interesting
Was
one.
Titan Souls in their indie dev or was it in their indie showcase or Sony's?
That must have
Titan
been-
Soul is like an old indie. It won the Ludum Dara, however you say it. People say it 15 different ways. But anyway, it won this amazing 24-hour, 72-hour game jam competition, and it was awesome. And now it's going to be on next-gen consoles.
That is, it was in the Sony conference.
Sony's.
It's going to be on PC, Mac, Vita, and PS4.
Very exciting.
So, the new definition of exclusive,
Yeah.
which means it's just not on that one console.
You don't have one guy and you hate that guy.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting to look at the divide between the indie stuff and the heavy hitting games. The heavy hitting games are all finally coming out full force, like next gen, looking very kind of hyper realistic, got that sharp, clean lines and high texture rates. And then the indie games have gone to this really cool art place.
Oh, absolutely.
They're so pretty. I mean, this is really throwing a wrench in that whole video games aren't art idea because the aesthetics that they are developing with these indie games is just awesome.
Gonna talk about Cuphead again.
Okay.
Let's talk about Cuphead.
Looks
Do it.
like, I mean, they only showed
Bugs
like
Bunny.
It's
they only
Mickey
showed
Mouse.
like
Yeah.
a 30-second
Steamboat
trailer.
Willie.
But it makes me think of like the old like Silly
Yeah.
Symphonies, style cartoon. And to see that it's gameplay is just weird to me. Like I never realized you could have an art style in a game that looks like that.
Right.
And
It almost looks like copyright infringement. Like, it's so close.
except it's in color and not black and white.
That's
So
true.
it's
There's
not
a
quite the same.
flicker to it too that really evokes that old TV kind of feel, which is or an old animation kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the screens and some of the things that I see them doing in that game make me think of when you would fight Bowser in Super Mario World on the SNES.
Oh, yeah.
He was in that flying
the
smiley
little
thing. Yeah.
weenie.
So I was like, oh yeah, I never made that realization when I was younger. When I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, that was directly influenced by the older cartoons, and now you see it's come back full circle.
Yeah, I love that it's almost to well, some indie games I think have gone to like a retro place. To talk about Titan Souls again, it's also like this sort of retro look to it, which is really, really, really cool. But then also, I'm skipping ahead again. We're gonna do beautiful, beautiful things. With Abzu looked gorgeous in Sony's conference. Entwined was another beautiful arts. Like they go to this extreme where they exploit the system capabilities to this gorgeous like games are art type place. You know what I mean? And it's very exciting.
Well, the crazy thing to me with Entwined specifically was they announced it and they said, queue it up to download. You will have it tonight. It's coming out that day. It's a game we'd never heard of. This particular one is Abzu right
Yeah,
here.
this is Abzu.
Which also is it's by the people
excited.
who made Journey, right? And I believe they said it's got its exclusive console debut on the PS4. So now I had to try to make a note of all of these like asterisks and
Right,
like
it's
the specific
exclusive
phrasing.
for 24 hours or something, which is exciting or interesting to me because Journey was completely PS3 exclusive, and so what happened with Abzu? The giant squid was like, hey, we'll give it up to Xbox One.
No. They said
More money.
No, they didn't say it's coming to Xbox One. They said exclusive console debut.
Right, debut. So could it end up eventually on
Right.
Xbox One?
So
That's what I'm saying. What happened?
Maybe it hasn't. Who
Yeah,
knows?
we don't
I
know.
think they left it
Maybe
intentionally
left it
ambiguous.
open. Yeah. Hey, Microsoft, you want to meet with Giant Squid? We'll put our game on your console.
But it was interesting to me that both conferences, going back to how Microsoft started with
Sure.
Call of Duty, both conferences opened with non-exclusive games. Microsoft opened with Call of Duty, Sony opened with Destiny, and they each have exclusive things with each of those. Like Microsoft has DLC on the Xbox first for Call of Duty, and Sony has the beta first, an alpha, and a white PS4 bundle for Destiny. And I think they have some early content or some exclusive content as well on their side. But again, they're like, both starting off with third-party games that are going to be pretty huge.
I just thought it was interesting that we've almost lost this sort of like big console battle in that like now so many games are, maybe the DLC will be on Xbox for 24 hours until it's on PS4, but it's eventually going to come there. Like there's no huge exclusives. They're not as often as they used to be. Like there's not these big like console making exclusives anymore. Everything's coming to everything.
I mean, yeah, there are a couple.
There
Again,
are, but
that's
it's
yeah.
it's not as like line in the sand anymore.
I mean, even like at the Nintendo presser, you saw like Sonic and Mario in Smash Brothers together,
Right.
and Pac-Man and Mega Man. It's
Right.
like, what's happening here?
Well, I mean, you got to think at some point the ability to have multiple consoles sell that unit can push those games even further. So Call of Duty is a really high-selling game, but it's available on multiple platforms. So whereas Halo or something like that, or Uncharted, they really only have the one market they can shoot for. So that gets those big titles really big, as opposed to the exclusive content.
No, absolutely. I'm going through my list here. So I feel like we haven't talked about Nintendo very much, so I want to try to talk about them a little bit here. I did not want to watch their direct presentation just because
No?
I've been checked out from Nintendo for so long and just not
They couldn't
caring.
hook you in with Robot Chicken?
They got me. They hooked
Did
me
they?
this year. I
All
went
right.
in like maybe it's a thing where I went in with low expectations, and they started with Smash Brothers, and I was like, oh god.
Well, first of all, they started with the most cringy fight we've ever seen in our lives.
so
It was
weird.
so weird.
Reggie Fils-Aimé and was
He's
it
all over
Satoru
the
Iwata?
place.
It was Iwata.
And they were fighting each other.
Yeah, no.
Reggie
It was
doesn't
just
care
so
anymore,
weird.
right?
Well,
Like he
did
did
the-
the Mega 64 video.
Fils-Aimé. I'm surprised we didn't see Fils-Aimé
I know.
during their presentation.
We didn't see any Fils-Aimé at all. I was very disappointed.
But they did announce the right after that they went right into the Amiibo toys, which I guess is like their version of Skylanders or Infinity.
Exactly.
Which will be interesting. I've never used Skylanders or Infinity, so I don't know if they have this capability as well. But with the Amiibo, the data transfer can be two ways, to where your particular figure can have upgraded and personalized stats based on your wins and your losses and your play style, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I also am not familiar with Skylanders, but they seem to make kind of this big deal about the two-way data transfer, so I'm assuming it's fairly new.
Yeah. But it's cool. But again, I think they said Smash Brothers on the Wii U will support it at launch, and they said that they're going to support Mario Kart 8 as well, but that's all they really announced initially. And I'm not really a big Smash Brothers player.
Me either. But Mario Kart.
Mario
Very
Kart?
excited about
Mario
Mario
Kart's
Kart.
fun.
And Captain Toad.
So that's one of the other ones I want to talk about. So then right after that, they went into first Yoshi's Woolly World,
Yes.
which had a really cool aesthetic. Again, it's going back to what you said, like trying to find a cool art style. And I guess that's the compromise Nintendo has to make with the Wii U. They can't push a ton of polygons like a super powerhouse console, so they have to find interesting looks to the games and cool ways and new game mechanics, which it seems like they're going to have a game mechanic that's going to be annoying as shit. Whereas you can play a multiplayer as two Yoshis.
We talked about this, yes.
And one Yoshi can eat the other and then spit him. You're going to just have an asshole you're playing with who's just going to be eating you
This
constantly.
is going to be the quickest way that I defriend so many people in my life, is by them doing. And it says, even Ibisu said, this is a mechanic you can use to attack the other player. No, it's a co-op game.
Yeah.
Why are we doing that?
you're not in competition.
No.
But yeah, so that looked really cool. And then maybe this is why they won me over, is I thought that had a cool aesthetic, and then they went straight into Captain Toad's treasure tracker, which is like Toad as Indiana Jones, basically, is the best way to describe it. It's like a cute Toad who's scared of everything, like trying to navigate puzzles and find treasure, I would presume.
There he is.
Yeah. Looking so awesome. And you can do first person from the gamepad, which they're very excited about, but he just looks so darn cute.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Again, the aesthetic and like the style, just having to really stick with it.
Which it's a very Nintendo aesthetic in a lot of ways. I mean, they haven't deviated much from their art style for as long as there's been a Nintendo. They just added a dimension, really.
Oh, what'd you do? I just added a dimension. Whatever,
deal.
really.
We weren't two, then we just stood it up. It's like a pop-up book. There you go. You're good to go.
Well, yeah, you can definitely say that about like Paper Mario,
Mario.
in those games. I mean, that's totally exactly what they did.
I think, unfortunately, as you said, the polygon limitation is starting to really show its head in things like Bayonetta 2, which showed off, which it's like, to kind of counteract that, they just push super anime look, like very angular kind of thing, but...
Did you guys hear the controversy about the cover? Either of you, the Bayonetta 2 cover? The guy who, I want to say he designs Bayonetta. He's involved with Bayonetta in some way, shape, or form. But I just skimmed it quickly this morning. Basically, there was concept art for Bayonetta 2, and then it showed the difference between the cover. And instead of being in front of the full moon she's in the cover, it was supposed to be a crescent moon. And he was mad they changed the number 2 to red instead of orange. They were like the tiniest differences, but he was pissed. He was like tweeting how mad he was about it and like, who ruined my cover.
Well, for a minute there, I thought you were going to say that they were going to make Bayonetta a female, but then it couldn't afford to be a male. Damn it. I saw him coming too.
Okay, well.
Gavin got you.
He was waiting for me to talk is what he was doing.
So one of the things they did mention or they showed off in the Bayonetta 2 presentation was, I guess they have some costumes for Bayonetta.
Yeah,
they
she
had
was Peach.
Peach, Link, and Metroid. And I guess they have the entire universe package coming out October 2014.
Right. It comes out with that's right. The original Bayonetta comes out on the same disc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first Bayonetta was too crazy for me. I remember watching Jack play some of it and just being like, "What the fuck is this that you're playing?" It was too out there. I realized there were people who were super passionate about it.
Right.
Not my cup of tea.
That's okay.
Okay, I want to talk about some EA and some Ubisoft. We're kind of all over the place. I'll go with Ubisoft first. The first 5 minutes of Far Cry 4 I thought looked fucking amazing.
That guy sounds so much like Tom Hardy to me. Is that just me or?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's kind of weird and disconcerting coming out of, he looks kind of pseudo-Asian maybe? I guess you're in the Himalayas, so.
Yeah, in a fictitious country. I liked Far Cry 3 so much. Far Cry 3 was a game I went into with really low, if no expectation, and I was just blown away.
I think a lot of people went into it with very low / no expectation. That's why it was such a hit.
Yeah.
Like people were just like, actually, it's really freaking good. You should get it.
Yeah, it was like they kept recreating that moment. It's like anytime you have to find an enemy base, it's like, okay, how am I going to do it this time? Are there going to be animals that are going to help me? And it's like, it was just that moment, copy and pasted across an entire game for an acceptable length of time. It's like, it wasn't too long, it wasn't too short.
Didn't drag it out.
The second island, I felt like it was dragging a little, but they wrapped that up in a hurry. But it was good, so I'm really excited to see what they do with this.
It's pretty. It's super pretty.
Yeah.
The only question is how much, and that's really a question for a lot of these titles, is how much of it's the E3 goggles. When it comes off, what's the game really going to look like?
Right.
But if it sticks to what we've been seeing for most of these titles, it's going to be a really pretty year.
One of the features they announced about Far Cry 4 in the Sony presser was that, it's a multiplayer game. You can have 2 players playing at once. And if you're playing on PlayStation platform, you can invite your friends to play, and even if they don't own the game, they can jump in and be your player too.
I didn't hear that. That's awesome.
It's a revolutionary feature if it catches on.
Yeah, well, they're already Sony's already so invested in like the Gaikai and the PlayStation Now and the game streaming. I could see how this could be a test for future bigger things, but it's interesting that it's coming from a third party title instead of first party.
How do you think that'll work? Do you think it'll be a stream to that person, or do you think they will download the game that they can only play if invited from a co-op time?
I think it'll be a stream.
I figured stream.
Yeah, because like you said, like Gaikai is their streaming service that they've been invested in, and this whole thing with you can play on your Sony TV soon if you have a controller. So I think that's probably how they'll work it with stream.
Which is PlayStation Now, right? With the beta starting on the 31st of July?
Yes. Look at you. Off the top of your head, I had to make a ton of notes. I normally don't have my laptop out here, but I was like, there's too much shit to memorize.
That was the only fact I knew. I blew it all on that one.
What's your middle name again?
PC Master Race?
That's right.
All right, here, let me read this thing. I want to remind everyone, this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Nothing feels better than the first shave with a fresh blade. It's smooth, it's close, and the blade is as sharp as it's ever going to be. But thanks to Big Shave Company's ridiculous prices, you can't afford to use a fresh blade every week. So you drag that dull-ass blade across your face for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 weeks? Question mark. Why do you do that to yourself? Maybe because the only thing more painful than shaving with an old blade is shelling out $30 for a pack of new ones. If you want to enjoy a fresh blade every week, but you don't want to take out another mortgage on your house, you got to join DollarShaveClub.com. For a couple bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com ships the highest quality blades you can get. I'm a 4-blade guy, and with Dollar Shave Club, it's only $6 for a 4-pack. Only $6 for the best quality blades you can get. So every week, you can pop in a fresh blade and treat yourself to an amazing shave. Amazing shave. Join DollarShaveClub.com, get amazing quality blades in the mail for a couple bucks, and treat yourself to a brand new blade every single week. Hundreds of thousands of guys have upgraded their shaving with Dollar Shave Club. I'm one of them, and now it's your turn. Shave time, shave money, DollarShaveClub.com/rooster. That's DollarShaveClub.com/rooster. Big thanks to Dollar Shave Club.
I would love to meet the person that took out a second mortgage to buy razors.
Me too. It's pricey.
You think
it might be that world's hairiest man, the guy that everyone tweets to me that I look like him. Thanks, by the way. I haven't seen that image a fucking million times. Okay, so we have not talked about any of the stuff from the E3, from the EA conference yet. I'm trying to jump around a bunch. So they let it off with the love song to Star Wars, essentially, where they had that DICE video where they talked about how much they love Star Wars, and they showed about 10 seconds of early prototype Battlefront stuff.
I always love when they have the developers and like, okay, we needed them to really understand cold. So we sent them somewhere really cold so they could look at things that were cold.
Well, DICE is based in Sweden anyway. So they probably didn't
outside.
They didn't have to go very far. Yeah. They're like
they'd never seen a jungle, so we sent them to the jungle. Not just any jungle, the jungle.
The jungle. But it was cool to know that it's being worked on, and they're treating it. They did this to try to show that they're going to treat it with respect, and it seems to be a recurring theme for Star Wars these days. With J.J. Abrams doing the new movie, and now with this, it's like we respect the same stuff you do. I swear, no Jar Jar.
It's like entering a haunted house, right? Like, we respect you, spirits. We're not here to harm you. Like, please don't slam any doors or turn on my coffee maker.
It's like a Fatal Frame game. Like, just let us take a picture.
Crimson Butterfly. I will sacrifice my twins.
Okay, hopping back around. Back to Microsoft. So they had, I guess, an Evolve trailer. I'm surprised there wasn't more
it was like,
Evolve shown.
Gone. Like, that's literally as much Evolve as at the Microsoft
they said,
presser.
I guess there's going to be a beta on the Xbox and DLC on the Xbox One first. So, I think we talked about this last week or the week before about how it seemed like the PS4 is the console for betas. Mm-hmm. But I think so far Evolve is the first beta I've seen them talk about that's exclusive to the Xbox One, not counting Halo 5, which of course would be exclusive to the
to
the Xbox One.
That didn't count, but
Evolve is such. I mean, at PAX it made such a splash that I think it's a big decision maker for a lot of people. I think people are very excited about Evolve. Obviously, it's not system exclusive, but I think that beta is a big get for them.
And I believe that the game comes out in October. I don't remember the exact release date off the top of my head. Yeah, October 21st. Mm-hmm. So that's here pretty soon. So we should be seeing a beta theoretically probably by end of August. So hopefully we'll see that soon.
Speaking of betas, the Battlefield Hardline beta dropped at E3, basically. They said it's out now, which I went and signed up for it and was able to get in the PC beta. Again, PC and PS4 were the two beta. Yeah, that's right.
I got in the PC beta too. Let's play.
Yeah, we should. It's fun. Have you played it at all?
No, I have not yet. I downloaded it I redeemed my code for it in Origin, and I just got to work downloading videos for the patch today.
40 videos.
If you've played any of PC Battlefield 4, it's very PC Battlefield 4. The graphics haven't come that far. That being said, PC Battlefield 4 is really pretty already, and it's really fun. The new game types can go really fast. There's one where there's just a couple, basically, briefcases full of money that you have to transport to two different escape locations. The premise of the whole thing is basically cops versus crooks. And I do think it's kind of sad. No offense, Rockstar, but Battlefield has managed to do a heist before GTA Online.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
That's a little sad. But it's basically cops v crooks, and there's two new game types that were in the beta, one map. One being the crooks have to get the money from two crashed armored trucks and get to two different escape locations. And you can run up to it, you blow open the armored car, you pick up the money, and then you run to the escape. That's it. Those games can be over in less than 5 minutes if nobody stops the guy. And the other one is basically there's a central location where both teams are running to grab bags of money and take them back to their bases. And they're fun. It's pretty catchy. It's an interesting change for Battlefield. There's, at least in those two game types, no capturing and taking points like traditional Battlefield playstyles.
Also, no soldiers.
There are no soldiers, essentially. They're just guys in ski masks and guys in helmets.
Yeah, it's like you got Battlefield in my payday. You got payday in my Battlefield.
We'll see if they come
seems
up with
really
peanut
fun.
butter.
So, like you said, the beta starts today. The game comes out October 21st. Do you think that their hand was forced with the beta because of all the leaks that they had?
I don't know. I can't say. I feel like there have been so many leaks. Actually, that I thought there would be more. Is that weird? That like I've just come to expect leaks from E3. The Mario Maker leaked early. Star Fox leaked early. We saw, and actually, poor Nintendo, I think, got the brunt of most of the leaking this
Well,
year.
yeah, because with them specifically, I saw pictures of their booth set up before the show even opened, and like everything was out there. Like, oh, cool, what's that Mario Maker thing?
Yeah.
Oh, look, those things are on little stands, and they're gonna have Skylanders. You know.
It was, they got kind of blown open. But the funny thing was, I saw most people online being like, well, we don't know if it's real. We know it's real.
Do you think, do people really honestly look at these things and go, oh, it's a leak, it's a leak? Or does everybody just assume, have we all become cynical and just like, somebody on the team just put that out there?
Somebody just got fired.
I figure
it's somebody doing their PR job.
Well,
like,
that's true. We were talking about
What's
it.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but you want to control the message and the way that it comes out. I mean, that's why they have these presentations. But with I lost my voice. But with Nintendo, it's a little different in that they don't need to fill a theater like everyone else. They're not doing the live presentation in front of people. They're just doing a virtual event streaming it. So maybe it's not as big a deal for them. Maybe it was more intentional.
I mean, I don't know. I think Nintendo is still very much a Japanese company in that they are very concerned with how things are controlled and how they come out and how they're announced. And so I think it would be weird if the control or if the leak was internal in any way, shape, or form.
The only thing they're not concerned about is the color of the 2 on Bayonetta. Because fuck
animals!
Red's fine. They're both in the same side of the rainbow. They touch.
I was surprised that the guy that was tweeting about it was so angry. I was like, oh.
Hey, it's his art.
It's his art.
That's what he does.
But also, I just felt like, I don't know, like I just have this impression of like a Japanese businessman and tweeting on Twitter is not necessarily how I think he would get his point across, but it's just me.
So one of the other surprises for me at E3 was the fact that Assassin's Creed Unity is multiplayer, up to 4-person co-op.
And no competitive multiplayer.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that part.
At least that's the fact that I was reading was that there would be no competitive multiplayer.
I never thought about playing the single-player campaign of Assassin's Creed with co-op players, and that seems fucking awesome.
It looked, the gameplay looked gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. We don't have to talk about the No Ovaries initiative that they've started, but it looked beautiful.
Well, no, I do want to mention something.
Do you want to talk about it?
Hold on, just one. This is my question. Okay, so they announced, or they basically came out that they wanted to do it. They wanted to add a female character to this, and then they just couldn't fiscally do it.
Right. It was too much work.
Don't you want them to have the thought that they wanted to do it, and then it proved that it wasn't fiscally responsible to do it?
Well, the thing, the frustrating thing to me is that was their initial reaction, and then earlier today they clarified it.
Uh-oh.
They said what we meant was when you're playing co-op, you're all playing as the same character, so you're seeing it from that character's perspective.
You're always going to be Arno, no matter what you're doing. You're always going to be Arno. So it wouldn't make any sense to have females in the game because you're always Arno.
If they had said that first, that makes sense.
Yes,
well,
now it seems like a weird backtrack.
Right, but the fact that they said what you said first, that they couldn't make it work.
I don't see what's wrong with that statement. Like, we can't afford to do it.
This is a debate I had this morning in the covers of whether or not that's like a legitimate excuse, right? For when there are 9 studios working on a game, is it really not fiscally responsible to render some boobs on somebody? Like, is that really that difficult?
Well, I mean,
it's what, like 4 extra polygons? Come on.
Look,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Had 4 polygons on her chest, and she made it work.
There's like a jiggle deformer in there. Okay. You laugh.
A jiggle deformer.
I mean,
how do you think those things get animated?
Dead or alive,
hey baby, I like that
sure.
You laugh. Look it up. It's a thing.
I'm just saying.
But,
I do think it's okay. They get to make the game they want. People can react to it however they would like. I just think that was a dumb thing for them to start off with, and the statement they made today was a much smarter approach.
That was smarter. I mean, I don't get it. Like, if the idea of having the idea that we would have thought, hey, it'd be fun if everybody could pick their gender in this. That's great. You want them to have that idea. If it turned out for whatever reason, we don't know, that they just couldn't get it in the game, at least their mind was in the right spot.
Sure.
I mean, it's not like,
I don't think
God,
they're evil.
the game's now horrible.
I don't think
they're terrible people that just didn't want to have a female in there. It's like, oh no, they just, for one reason or another, didn't think they could get it in the game.
Right. I think if they had framed it any other way other than like, well, we just couldn't do it. There weren't enough people. You're not an indie dev.
Right.
Like, you can do what you want to do with the game. But if they had just said like, hey, look, in future games, we'd love to show you some lady assassins. Wonderful. I think we all would have celebrated that. We would have loved that they had that idea. I just think that they came off kind of flimsy, like, yeah, we wanted to, but like boobs are expensive.
Yeah,
like, that's not an excuse.
I don't know if maybe whoever made the initial comment wasn't someone authorized to speak or
he was not a PR person, that's for sure.
Someone who was just like talking out their ass, and then everyone ran with it. So then PR actually has to make the official reason out. So who knows? But their final reason makes sense to me.
Right.
Unless you watch the trailer and then you see that every one of those assassins is carrying different equipment, and it doesn't feel like.
But are their faces the same? Is
They
the question?
They're under
As somebody
hoods.
who's already making cosplay for it, they're not the same. There's one guy with a mustache. There's a guy with a
Yeah,
beard.
look, some of them look like really super butch and stuff. It's
One
like,
guy's got an axe.
This is the Arno that went to the gym. This is the Arno that's been just hanging out in front of the couch for a while.
Which Arno do you want to be?
They're all the same genetics, but it's kind of a loose organization of chromosomes, really.
I also thought it was interesting they said at the end of their statement today, we can't wait to show you the strong female characters in Assassin's Creed Unity. Who are these strong female characters going to be if not assassins?
Well, they could still be assassins. They just
French
won't be
ladies.
playable assassins.
That's very true. They could just be not playable characters.
They will be figuring it out.
Yeah,
and
right
letting us
now
know
they're like,
very
get those-
soon.
Someone
Get
is
the lady in.
furiously cross-dressing a digital character right now. Quick, make the hair longer. Make the hair longer.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, people have been asking for female assassins for several iterations of the game. I'm sure it's on the roadmap. I'm sure it's coming.
Well,
I
they've
have
been in
full faith them.
competitive. I mean, they have
Right.
had female assassins in competitive multiplayer.
But they said as part of the secondary release they started it with that same boilerplate that they have before every Assassin's
Yep.
Creed, where it's like, Assassin's Creed is developed by a multicultural team of many faiths and
Yes.
beliefs. It's like, okay, we get it. I see this every time I turn the game on.
Oh, come on. This one's in France. I mean, really? What are we worried about? All those white French people are going to be offended all of a sudden? Oh no, the bourgeoisie.
I like that. I hope you get a voice bit.
There we go. That's
in
my
the
audition
game.
tape.
Okay, jumping back around. Sony conference, the Order 1886.
Yeah.
They showed off a little bit of, I guess, like a trailer / gameplay bit there. I'm still hungry for more. I guess the game's coming out in 2015.
Yeah, I believe it's
I think they
2015.
said early 2015.
I got a very Resident Evil vibe with it's not in this bit here, but this is the werewolf bit, but there is a skinless dog
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
villagers that look like the RE4 villagers, just my opinion. But it looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm definitely really excited about the game. It's being developed by Santa Monica Studio, who, I guess they're most well known for the God of War series. They also developed Fat Princess, which is one of my favorite PS3 games.
I
And
love Fat Princess, and it's so unsung. Nobody cares
they
about
showed
it.
off a Fat Princess title
Really?
during their montage, during their free-to-play games section.
Oh, I
Fat
think
Princess piece of cake. So I guess Fat Princess is coming back as well. During their free-to-play montage, they had Guns Up, Fat Princess piece of cake, Big Fest, Pain, which is another one of my favorite PS3 games, Kingdom Under Fire 2, Reaper, Onigiri, sorry, Neverwinter, PlanetSide 2, My Singing Monsters, Loadout, and War Thunder. So they got, a huge list of in the free-to-play section there. So should be really cool to see. And there was something. Oh, then I was also going to mention that they announced a partnership with Devolver Digital, who's going to be publishing a ton of stuff. A ton of console debuted games on the PlayStation platform, including Broforce, Titan Souls, Not a Hero, Hotline Miami: Wrong Number, and the Talos Principle. And Devolver Digital has been all over the place lately, so it's really cool to see they got some love during the Sony presser there.
the Talos Principle looked like The Witness. Did anybody else think it looked like?
It seemed out of place compared to those other games. It
Right?
was like,
I
this
was
like,
like-
bam, bam, bam. Then, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, and I was like, whatever did happen? Isn't Jonathan Blow the guy behind it? He did Braid.
Jonathan Blow did Braid, yeah.
Yeah, and he did that was when the console was announced. They were like, The Witness, and it looked all sweet, like Mist. And then where did it go? Like, whatever happened to that game?
Let me look.
A Google.
Goes deep into the.
To Google we go.
It's upcoming 3D puzzle game.
Still not out. It was like supposed to be in 2013, then it got pushed back to early 2014.
It was announced August 2009. Well, it's a Jonathan Blow game, right?
Yeah.
It takes a long time to make a 3D puzzle.
It says release date is still set for mid 2014, so soon.
Get
There you
on
go.
it, bro.
Yeah.
Development time is cubed
Blow.
for 3D.
Yeah. So still going
God,
on
I
it.
hate myself for that one.
Still working on it. Okay, back down to Ubisoft. What else did they have? So Ubisoft had The Division. So we saw The Division at
yes.
both the Microsoft presser as well as the Ubisoft presser. In the Microsoft presser, we saw a gameplay demo, and then the Ubisoft presser, we saw one of the most depressing trailers ever.
So well done. Flashbacks to Dead Island, anybody else, but so well done.
This is the Ubisoft trailer.
Yes,
I
this
haven't
is
been
the
able to make
cinematic
Jeff watch
trailer.
it yet.
It's really good.
It's rough, man, but
So dark.
it really made me want to play the game. Like I thought the gameplay demo was really cool. I was super excited for it, and then to see this. And I'm normally not a big fan of like non-gameplay trailers, but I feel like this helps sets the mood and lets you know what the world's going to be about. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a sucker for cinematic trailers. I'll definitely watch them and get like chills and be like, ooh, they use this song. I'll go download, Beast or whatever for BioShock. But this one, I loved. I love the cinematic trailer. Gave me chills. I thought it was wonderfully done. But like you said, the gameplay trailer, the gameplay footage had already gotten me excited. I didn't need the cinematic trailer should have come first and then the gameplay because I was already stoked as hell about
and here's
it.
the gameplay one, which I love that idea or that aesthetic of having the map projected below you.
I like that we can basically see back in time with like the old security systems that we can hack into and. The voice acting is really, really well done. I thought also, voice acting, this was the best E3 for voice acting. Anybody else with like gameplay where they hired voice actors to do the voices of the people like they're talking back and forth?
Yeah.
People have started to notice when that kind of thing sticks out.
I know, it doesn't bother me. People get mad about it. They're like, oh, pre-rendered voice actors. I'm like, oh, so it was still fun to watch.
So I'm noticing a trend here. I don't know why I hadn't put this together earlier. I'm like looking back through the EA stuff. We already talked about how they had the Battlefront thing with DICE. I'm realizing they showed a lot of games with no name. Like they had the Battlefront thing, which the Star Wars game that DICE is developing. They had a Mass Effect prototype.
Right.
Yeah.
They also had a Criterion game with no name. They just said it's going to have ATVs and helicopters and boats and wingsuits and parachutes and planes and jet skis.
That's another one of the ones where we just had a lot of footage of them throwing developers out of planes and putting them on a boat. And
Right.
experience the fear. Now put it in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, and they showed like some really. They showed them playing some really rough.
It was like a guy on a bike.
in engine stuff. But yeah, one of the things that I saw was like a guy jump out of a helicopter onto a snowmobile and then take off on that. I was like, wow, what is going on in this game?
Why not?
So they have a lot of stuff, I guess, in early development that they're not ready to show. So how early are these announcements starting to come now? Like we're getting to the point where games don't even have names or genres yet.
Yep, that's how I felt about Abzu. I mean, Abzu's beautiful and it looked really nice. 2016, WTF. Like, I can't wait that long. My attention doesn't go that
We'll
far.
not remember it by mid-2015.
Yeah,
no.
why aren't we doing
It's
this at
gone.
2015's E3? Like, why? I don't understand these super early
Hype.
announcements. I know, hype train. All above the hype, aboard the hype train.
Problem with the
started.
hype train is it runs out of fuel real
Oh,
fast.
yeah.
There's a lot of coal you have to
got
shovel
brakes.
in the hype train.
There's a lot of other stuff you got to shovel as that hype train goes on too. So hopping back down to
It's kind of a smelly train, really. When
Yeah.
it goes through your town, you know.
yeah, it leaves its mark. Hopping back down to Nintendo. The other, so I'm pretty much done with Nintendo at this point. The other things I was really excited
Hyrule
about,
Warriors.
which is like a Dynasty Warriors type game.
Right, it's a
It
collaboration.
is Dinosaur Warriors,
Yeah,
basically.
with like a Zelda collab.
Of course, they had a Legend of Zelda teaser.
Something. That's another one. Doesn't
Yep.
have a name. We don't
Yeah.
know really. Just that they really, really, really wanted a vast world.
Yeah, they talked about how they couldn't do open world previously, and now you can really just go wherever you want. You're not going. There's no illusion of an open world. You're not going from small closed world to small closed world on a linear path. You can really choose your own adventure.
The thing that bothered me about it, though, was that they said that the puzzle begins when you're trying to figure out how to get in somewhere. That was like the one part of the Zelda game I didn't need to figure out. Was like how to get somewhere on the map. Like, why?
I see that giant
Lesson
skull
one.
mountain. How am I going to get in there?
First thing, cartography. After you've mastered the tenets of cartography, now you can play the game truly.
You hope you get your sextant and look at the stars in the game. Forget your navigation.
Let's build a map first.
But the other two things that they finished up with that I was super excited about were Mario Maker and Splatoon.
Yes.
So Mario Maker reminds me a lot of Mario Paint on the SNES, in that it's like you could just place assets and essentially design Mario levels. And it seemed like you could toggle between different Mario styles in
Yes.
different games with the same
You're
with the
actually
same
going to
map.
see that here in this video. It'll
Yeah.
click over pretty soon to the new style Mario. Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, so, I mean, this capability has kind of existed for a long time, unofficially. in the world of ROM makers and things like that. It seems kind of odd to introduce it this late in the game for that just traditional 2D side-scroller kind of create a game.
But this is opening it up to the general public and the masses. You know, if you have a ROM and modders, that's a very small select community. Like now you're really opening up content creation to everyone. Like everyone has the tools readily available.
All right. I mean, you don't think at a certain point, though, that people that really wanted to make stuff could have already done it. Like they could go find it and do it themselves.
Absolutely. I think it's kind of the Little Big Planet effect, right? Of making levels. They saw how successful that was for them, and so they want to do it for Mario too.
And Trials Fusion is also huge. I mean, not to denigrate the ability to just hand someone tools, but those tools have existed. I mean, you could do it. Just harder to share and harder to kind of put it out there for everybody.
Yeah, I just think of like back when like I was a kid and Mario Paint came out and it was just like the greatest thing in the world to me. It's like, what crazy shit can I make with this and show to everyone. I think maybe that's the target, just like people who are much younger and don't have that knowledge.
Was there any other use of the mouse other than Mario Paint?
It was just Mario Paint. Yeah. Swatting those flies.
Which there's a fly in this too, by the way. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I did.
That you swat.
I fucking love
Will
Mario
it come
Paint.
with a mouse?
No.
No, you don't need it. You got the gamepad.
That's
Yeah, you
true.
got the gamepad and the stylus. For nostalgia's sake.
Oh, touch controls, taking away all our old-time fun.
And then Splatoon.
Yep.
Which is a 4v4 online game.
Yes.
Where you have to spray ink all over the map. But there's an interesting mechanic where when you're in your own colored ink, you can become a squid and swim really fast through it.
Right.
And when you're in your opponent's colored ink, it really slows you down and you can't move very quickly in it. And you win basically by covering the majority of the map in your team's color. One of the more interesting mechanics I thought with this game was when you're playing, you can look on the gamepad and see where all of your allies are, touch one of them, and instantly warp to that location.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
not like, does it have a cooldown or anything? That
It's just when
seems-
you spawn. It's like after you die and you spawn, you just like tap.
Okay.
And that way it's like you don't have to worry about running from the spawn location after the front line. You're like, okay, I'm just going to, boom, there I am. I'm there back in the action.
That's nice. It seems almost like a multiplayer for children almost. But like obviously like adults will play, but it's almost like taking a multiplayer game like a Call of Duty or something, taking it down to like this almost elementary level and making it really, really fun.
Of just shooting things on things and making them yours.
Yeah.
But I worry about like that ability to teleport. It's like you wonder what that does for a game's balance. But if the game isn't dominated by like KD ratio and instead dominated by like paint, maybe it's not a concern.
In Battlefield right now, you can currently join a squad and spawn on your squad mates.
That's true.
I mean, you can always jump back.
They have to not be in combat though, right? You have to like
Not for
wait
Battlefield.
I thought you have to wait for the area to clear.
I could be wrong, but I think you can just spawn on squad mates. Because I've in Hardline, at least, I've spawned on a squad mate and immediately gotten shot. So.
I guess, and I guess in Battlefield, your squads are relatively small. So, I mean, this is only 4v4, so maybe it's similar. But yeah, it looks like a fun game.
Yeah, it looks really, really cool. I love
cool.
that they were hanging out one day at the aquarium, just chalking about their game, like the big aquarium.
Yeah, it's like it was like I don't know, it was like a weird little story. Like, yeah, it was our day off and we were at the aquarium.
I also like that they were mean to the one guy. They were like, "I'm pretty good. You suck." To the other guy. And he was like, "Yes, I do."
It was interesting. It was interesting to see Nintendo really put like a personality on their developers and their studios. I felt like they were definitely trying to brand them and show the differentiation. Like they were very clear. I think it was Hello Games is working on the Yoshi's Woolly World.
Good Feel Company.
Was it Good Feel?
Yeah.
There you go. Never mind. Hello Games is working on something else that we're talking about later.
Okay. I only know because I wrote it down yesterday.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Hello Games is what? They're working on No Man's Sky. That's what I thought. Which I want to talk about
No
in a
Man's
second.
Sky.
Let me read this thing and
Okay.
we'll get to that.
Fine, tease me, why don't you?
Want to remind everyone that this episode of The Patch is also brought to you by World of Tanks. Have you played World of Tanks? It's a free-to-play game with over 85 million players worldwide. It's got massive, high-powered, authentic tanks blasting away in intense strategic armored warfare. Strategize victory on history's most epic tank encounters, including maps based on famous battlegrounds of World War II. Team up and tactically eliminate the enemy. Compete online against players worldwide. World of Tanks is free to play on your PC. If you haven't played yet, you've been missing out. Go to playtanks.us. It's right there on the screen. That's playtanks.us and use code Rooster for awesome in-game items. Rated T for teen. Ooh, it's the first time I've had to say that. Playtanks.us, code Rooster, rated T for teen. I played a lot of World of Tanks, and when I first started playing, I thought I was the greatest player in the world.
Did you? How did you get that misconception?
I had a wonderful run, like my first 5 games, where I didn't die and was killing people left and right. And I realized, oh, these are all the other people playing for the first time. I am just better than people literally playing for the first time like me. And that game is intense, man. That game is super strategic.
You and I did a This Is, which can be found on the Rooster Teeth channel, I believe.
I played the shit out of World of Tanks. It's a fun game. It's free to play. You know, you can unlock stuff in game just by playing the game. Really fun. Anyway, so No Man's Sky, which was shown during the Sony presser, and I want to say that their console debut is on the PS4. So I think they first showed No Man's Sky at E3 last year, and Hello Games is the developer that suffered through that flood. And they lost a lot of stuff. So I wasn't even really expecting to see any No Man's Sky at E3 this year. So I was really, really amazed to see what they did show. And I mean, we're looking at the coolest thing to me right here is you're walking around on the planet with animals. You get in a spaceship, fly into space, get into a space fight, fly to another planet, land, and get out of your ship with no loading screen.
And everybody gets their own unique planet to start on.
Right. It's all procedurally generated.
Yep.
This one's mine. Can't have it.
How the fuck does that work? Like, it's mind-blowing to me.
I haven't seen... I'm trying to think of any other game where I've ever seen space and ground combat. I don't think I can... The only one that comes to mind is Wing Commander 4. You could actually fly to a planet and then go down and attack a base on the ground. Since then, I don't think anybody's done it.
It looked beautiful, and there were a lot of people who were very excited to see it. And also, most adorable presenter award goes to I think it's the head of the studio. I want to say his name.
Yeah, hello,
He's
indie
like,
game.
I just love this game so much, and he was like about to cry. And most adorable award goes to him.
Yeah, he's like, we're a small studio.
Yeah.
What do you think the gameplay for that will be, though? Like, what do you do?
You get into fights in space.
Yeah. I don't know what you don't do. How about that?
Hey, you walk around on the planet. Is it going to be a builder? I mean, what? It's so open right now. It's like, what is this game?
The sky's the limit.
So,
No Man's Sky is the limit.
Quick correction here, according to Twitter, you can spawn even on friendly squad mates, even if they're in combat.
That's what I thought.
Okay, so I was mistaken about that.
You're probably thinking like Halo.
So I guess we should talk about Halo.
Hey, Halo.
We have not talked about.
There's one of those too, right?
The Master
the
Chief
Halo.
Collection.
Yeah, so they announced the Master Chief Collection, which is Halos 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are...
Halo 1 Anniversary and Halo 2 Anniversary.
Correct.
Yes.
And then Halo 3 and 4, which have been rewritten to run on the Xbox One platform. And they're going to be released all together this year for $60, which is crazy to me. And
what blew Ray's mind is 4,000 gamer
4,000
scores.
gamer score. You'll be able to... One of the interesting things I thought... Oh, this is the Halo 5 teaser we're looking at right here, actually. One of the interesting things I thought about Halo 4 was that they'll have level playlists where you can take any levels you want and play them in order. So, for example, you could create a Warthog playlist and just play like every driving level.
Yeah, it was a little unclear, I thought, at the conference, but I think it's come out now that you're going to be able to create them because they said, well, we'll have custom playlists to serve as the greatest hits of the levels, but I didn't know if they were going to be like released or you could make your own. Seems like you can make your own.
Yeah.
It would be silly if you couldn't make your own, but it's cool that they all run in the same interface as well. So you can be like, great, I'm going to play Halo 1, now I'm going to play Halo 3, then I go to Halo 2. Like, you can do it in any order you want to do, which is great.
Yeah, that's one of the things I feel like I kind of glossed over. You're right, we should mention that they did announce that Halo 2 is getting the full anniversary treatment for this. Including the ability to toggle between original engine and new engine dynamically on the fly, just like in Halo CE Anniversary.
I believe they said that you're going to have access to every multiplayer map
Every
too,
single
right?
multiplayer map in 1080p, 60 frames a second with dedicated servers.
It's going to be cool.
And 6 of the Halo 2 maps have been revamped.
Yeah, they showed Ascension during the conference, which was one of my favorites. Like, probably one of everyone's favorites who played Halo 2 online. Lockout?
Yes.
Really? Yeah.
Lockout, for
That's
sure.
a good one.
We'll
It's
see.
small and I can't lose people.
I'll be curious to see if we see some coagulation, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, they announced the Master Chief Collection, and they also announced that as part of that, if you purchase it, you'll get access to the Halo 5 beta, which starts December 27th, and you'll also get the Ridley Scott miniseries Nightfall, which I guess is a new Halo narrative that they're taking, or they're going to be releasing alongside the the Master Chief Collection.
Right, and it's a live action series that apparently goes up to like in story to Halo 5, like leads up to Halo 5.
Is it bridging 4 to 5?
They said it's a bridge to 5, but they didn't say where that bridge comes from. So
nowhere.
Terabithia, I don't know.
Yeah, it actually starts in
Terabithia.
Toledo. We're not sure what. It's just some guy. He's a taxi driver. Wanders onto the set of Halo 5.
Yeah, so then they didn't even give a release date for Halo 5 beyond saying Halo 5 Guardians 2015.
Right.
So I think it's safe to assume holiday,
We got a pretty busy fall already, though. I mean, there's aside from just the new things coming out, or you get the remake of GTA 5 is coming out in fall. Let's see, there's Destiny, there's The Crew, right? That comes out November 11th, I think.
Yep.
It's going to be a busy fall. We got to get there, though. Until then, there's like nothing. I mean, it's a pretty slow summer.
Excuse me, August
I'm
29th,
sorry.
Professor Layton versus Ace Attorney will be hitting shelves, so I know where I'll be.
you got
Whoa,
faced.
you better
Thank you.
file a brief about it. Wait, what?
It's been out in Japan for over a year. They announced it at the last E3. The U.S. never got a release date, and then this year we finally
Is this
got
like
one. I'm very
Harvey
excited.
Birdman's friend? What is this?
It's Professor Layton, the
Okay.
Professor Layton games, and then Phoenix Wright, and they made a crossover game, and I'm very excited. You know
And
what?
it's about lawyers?
Oh, yeah, Phoenix Wright is an attorney. You don't know Phoenix Wright?
You know, the objection.
Yeah.
You know objection? You mean the
That's like-
most common term ever used in a courtroom?
Come
Yeah,
on,
I
it's
know
like- it's like a
objection. I know what an
meme.
It's like a
objection
meme,
is.
yeah.
Everywhere.
We're going to sit together. Let's have a very special video
Okay.
where I show
I'm going to
you
learn about the internet.
Phoenix Wright
I'm
and Professor
excited.
Layton. I'm very excited. I felt like this was almost like Nintendo did a little bit of, they focused on bringing things, that is the objection. They focused
I'll
on
pull it up here on the.
They focused on bringing things that were in Japan already out. Fantasy Life also, which has been in Japan since December, is coming to the U.S. as well. So we're finally getting some games that have been out forever.
I thought I knew things about Japanese games, but I guess I don't.
I don't. You'll see. I'm hoping you'll see Phoenix Wright and say like, "Oh, of course I know that."
I feel like you just told me that there's a whole subset of the internet that I'm not aware of, which I'm sure there's lots of. No, I got nothing.
Objection.
All right.
I got nothing.
Oh my! We're gonna have the most wonderful time together, you and I.
Are you a special lawyer?
You're a lawyer, and you have to figure out where people are lying and object at the right time and press them, and you smack your table. It's really fun.
Is it like DDR
Smack the
courtroom?
table. You'd love it.
It's like Cho Tabadagaeshi, where you smack the table.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Now my screen is stuck showing objection.
Objection.
I can't get back to my list of topics. There we go. All right. So where am I going at? So going back. Oh yeah, that's right. Going back to the Sony conference, they also showed off the fact that they're going to have new Infamous DLC called Infamous First Light, which presumably follows the storyline of Fetch. It seems like based on the trailer. And Fetch was the neon person in
Neon
Infamous
person?
Second Light.
Okay.
Or Infamous Second Son. So it'll be cool. And I believe they said that it's going to be standalone DLC, so you don't need to own Infamous Second Son to be able to get it. Kind of like how Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon was its own thing and didn't need Far Cry 3.
Completely its own thing.
Speaking of which,
Slightly inspired by Far Cry 3. Borrowed a control scheme from Far Cry 3.
there was another announcement during the Microsoft presser that made me think of Far Cry 3. Where is it? Here it is. Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX
Another
Plus Alpha.
wonderful thing that dropped day of when it's like, hey, we announced it. And then as soon as that happened, we loaded up Dead Rising, started hitting refresh, and within an hour it was available. We've already done Let's Playing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I heard it was fun. I heard you guys have fun.
It's a lot of fun,
It
man.
seemed like an awesome celebration of like Capcom. It was like for their 31st anniversary.
Yeah.
Like everything about that trailer was awesome. Like they nailed it. It looked so fucking great.
It was awesome. I love the car bonus stages.
And there's a bunch of achievements that go with that. I mean, I think I counted there was 27 achievements just with that DLC. That's more, I think, than they've had in all the other DLCs. If you care about that sort of thing. It's still not that many points, but and it's a lot of fun. It's an easy thing to hit all the achievements. They're not crazy, and it's a lot of fun. It's very campy, sort of arcadey style. And if you got friends to play it with, I would recommend doing that.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
I just got alerted here that apparently on the Know later today, the Know will be publishing impressions of Assassin's Creed Unity, Civilization Beyond Earth, Evolve, and Far Cry 4. So all of those will be impressions of that will be published on the Know here later today. If you're watching it live, if you're watching it pre-recorded, it's already there. You should go watch it.
I think there's already one up for. I lost it.
All right, fair enough.
There's something up now. There's a first impression now up go see. It's a surprise. It's really awesome. You should
Guess
go watch
which one he was. Let's play a game called Guess Which One Ryan was thinking of.
Guess the thing that I meant.
You were thinking of Civilization Beyond Earth.
No.
Damn. That was my guess. Okay, back to Ubisoft. So they had a game which was, I don't know, one of the saddest another one of the sad trailers at E3, that Valiant Hearts.
Yes, I was like, I wonder if we're going to get to Valiant Hearts before this is over.
Yeah, like a World War I game with a dog.
I tweeted, there's only one rule of E3, and it's no sad dogs. And like, I teared up watching it.
I know, I was like, why am I getting so sad?
No, don't show the Barbies.
If you don't look, it doesn't exist and never happened.
He never laid down on the ground all sad. Oh, it looks really good, though. As somebody with a history degree, I will absolutely be playing that game.
Seems really, really cool. I'm glad to see them try that. But I just wanted to mention that before we talk about Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes.
Which
how long has it been
really
since Rainbow
awesome.
Six has had a game?
I think 6 years.
Yeah, this is about right.
2008.
Mm-hmm. And so here it is. You can see it's like what they showed off was a gameplay, I guess. It's like a 5v5, I think, was in this demo, which one team is holding a hostage in a house and the other team has to try to infiltrate the house and extract the hostage. So they set up like a plan. They had multiple different points of entry, and they chose, in this case, in this gameplay, to rappel down onto the roof and bust in that way. But I think they said they could also go through the garage and through another room was one of the other options.
Yeah, they have all the windows too. The coolest thing about this is that we found out that there's basically like a planning phase. So before you start, you get around 3 minutes, it seemed like, to the terrorists get to bulk up the house based on they have a budget apparently to like bulk up the house. And then the counter-terrorists get to scope it out with drones to see where the weak points are and then try and storm the house. The coolest thing is when you die, you're not all the way out, although we did talk about whether or not we thought that was a better idea. But you get to be a drone and tell people, tell the rest of your teammates what's going on. But once you die, you're out for the rest of the round.
And we don't know yet if that drone is then, you can take the drone out after
it seemed like it, but
when you double die.
Yeah, when you super double
die.
Double dead plus.
Double plus dead. But this was one that there was definitely voice actors doing the gameplay, and I liked it. I thought it was wonderful.
It's kind of cheesy. But the destructible environment seemed crazy, where like the people were started shooting through the wall and destroying the wall, and one of the I don't know what to call them, terrorists or one of the opposing force set up a barricade and a shield so they couldn't get around him. So one of the friendly players shot through a barricade to open up for a sniper to kill that person.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really, really cool looking.
It's actually kind of interesting because that seems like the most team communication of any game I've seen in recent memory. I mean, you really have to coordinate with your teammates, which I don't know, a lot of people like me probably never play with a headset on or have disabled the ability to receive voice and text communication.
You and I play very similar ways, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost never beneficial, but for a game like that, I would definitely play with friends.
You would need it.
Yeah, and do that the right way, proper. So see, where am I going? Oh, I know we only have like 4 minutes left, so I'm trying to make sure we hit all the big ones I talk about.
Like it just turned over.
It's like we just started.
Back to EA, of course, they talked about Sims 4. They also had UFC, NHL 15, Madden. It's like you don't have to.
But now they've got Bruce Lee in UFC, so it's all fresh and new.
But one of the weirder,
looking really weird too. He's got very odd, anyway.
One of the weirder announcements I thought was in PGA Tour, the Extreme Fantasy courses, where you could play golf essentially on a battlefield level, and it seemed like the whole course was being destroyed by this battle, and you're just trying to play golf.
Dad, get out of my battlefield game!
You got battlefield in my golf game. I'm going to keep making that joke for everything now. That's like a mashup.
Is that not your Extreme Fantasy, though, to play golf in the middle of a war?
Yeah. I really love Battlefield, but if only I could play golf here.
It's like, hold up, guys. Like, you get your squad. Like, all right, let's go hit the back nine. Well,
hit point B. I got a ball down there. Let's go.
Wait, no, you may be onto something. What if you have to claim the checkpoints by hitting the ball into the hole?
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah, I can see that. They also
Battle golf.
They also showed off Dawngate, which is their MOBA. Mirror's Edge 2, FIFA 15, and Battlefield
Mirror's Edge
Hardline.
2.
Yeah.
I have like a collapsies for that. But here's the thing about Mirror's Edge, right? It always looks really cool, and then it makes you throw up when you play it. So, it looked really, really cool again, but I have deja vu. So.
It's so white.
Deja vu and vomit.
Did you actually throw up playing this
vomit.
game?
No, but motion blur gets to me.
Uh-huh.
I'm one of those.
Well, we'll see. I don't think they even announced a potential release date. I think it's still like a prototype.
No, it is. It's very like, look how cool Faith looks.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
Yeah, some early concepts there. We already cleared Nintendo. Was there any other Ubisoft stuff I wanted to talk about? We talked about The Crew, which seems pretty cool. They have that Just Dance Now, which is like their mobile phone game, so you can play with multiple people. Like they had the entire audience dancing to a big screen.
No pop performances this year.
No what?
No Usher.
Oh, right, you're right.
What the hell?
So
that's everybody's favorite part.
I know.
You can't talk about Dance Central without talking about Usher.
All the comments are always, man, all these developers talking, I wish there'd been just a little bit more Usher.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest scripted lines by a presenter was during the Ubisoft conference. It was pretty early on when Aisha Tyler came out. She said, "I'm just like you guys. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see what they have lined up for us. I've already seen what they have lined up for us, and here we go." It's like, wait, you just said you're like us and you can't wait to see it. Like, I feel like someone was revising the script and forgot to
delete it.
delete one of those lines or like forgot to merge them. So it was a really weird, like I was like, what?
It's
like it caught me off guard.
They downloaded a new version of the script to her brain midway through the conversation. Like, I just saw it. It was great.
She gets the Trooper Award because she's come back so many years after just like hate every year she gets.
She got really excited too. It was kind of cute.
Other Sony stuff we didn't talk about. Little Big Planet 3 by a new developer.
By drunk
didn't mention
developers.
Yes, the developers could not get through their own demo on stage. Bloodborne, which is coming from
software.
Yeah, from the developers who made Demon Soul and Dark Soul.
The spiritual successor to Dark Souls.
Dead Island 2, which had a great trailer. I fucking love that trailer.
Always does.
Diablo 3 Ultimate Evil Edition with monsters from Last of Us crossover.
A little clicker action.
Okay. Battlefield Hardline, Disney Infinity, some exclusive stuff. Grim Fandango coming back on the PS4 and Vita. Project Morpheus, the free-to-play games. PlayStation Now, beta, PlayStation TV, Powers. We talked about Powers, right? The TV show. That's
We
like
didn't
their
talk
own
about
digital
it.
content so that people who have PSN Plus can watch it for free. They showed some Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain, Uncharted 4, which I can't wait for, A Thief's End. And then finally, Microsoft stuff. We're wrapping up here.
You're just saying words. You're just throwing things out
We
there.
did not get to cover Dragon Age Inquisition. Oh, that was also in the EA one. Sunset Overdrive, which looked really fucking cool and fun.
8-player co-op multiplayer, I believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so.
Conquer is going to be in Project Spark now. Fable Legends, which seemed cool. 4v1, essentially. 4 players co-op and then 1 villain setting up traps for them.
Which is a new thing that a lot of games are running with and is really cool.
Yeah, I
hope.
think Evolve is starting to set a little bit of a tone everybody's trying to catch up with.
Ori and the Blind Forest. Which
Oh,
is
it looks so good, except also that one made me
Another
cry.
sad one. I was like, oh, what is up with this? Inside, which is made by the people who developed Limbo. Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I'm super excited about. I can't believe I'm saying that about a Tomb Raider game. Last one was so good.
Seriously, after the last one, Lara Croft is like a mass murderer, though, right? I mean, she killed so many people.
I mean, that's, I think, addressed in this trailer. It starts with her
She's
in
like,
therapy.
yeah, she's in therapy.
Did she admit to this guy? It's like, you don't understand. I killed hundreds of them.
She's in therapy
I shot
for
them
it.
in the face with arrows.
Witcher
and
3.
guns.
Witcher 3, Phantom Dust, which I didn't even know what the
I
original
love
Phantom
them.
Dust
I
was.
just loved the build up was like everybody loves old games. I love making Phantom Dust. Nobody knows. Nobody.
No? Yeah,
Crickets.
you-
Thank you
you
very
played
much.
it? Yeah.
Have a great E3.
Look on the value rack. It was on the value rack for a long time.
And then
Great game, though.
Scalebound,
I'm excited.
Scalebound and Crackdown, which are Xbox
Crackdown.
exclusives.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I was not a huge fan of the second Crackdown. They said that they're trying to make this one more like the original, so we'll see how it goes. All right, we have to wrap up. We're at time.
Nah, we got time. Look.
So thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back
I tried.
on Monday with an
I
episode
tried,
of RT
Internet.
Podcast and next Wednesday with another episode of The Patch. Bye.